Tonight, the White House addresses head-on controversial remarks by Supreme Court nominee Sonia Sotomayor.
I think she'd say that her word choice in 2001 was poor.
I'm Katie Couric. Also tonight, 2 exclusives. As the president declares war on cybercrime, CBS News takes you where no cameras have been before, behind the front lines.
This is where the action happens.
And pirate police off the coast of Somalia, an exclusive ride-along with the growing number of warships patrolling the most dangerous sea lanes in the world.
Hands up.
Also tonight, kiddie pool. Too young to know his ABCs, but wait till you see what he can do with a cue.
This is the CBS Evening News with Katie Couric.
Good evening, everyone. Well, ever since President Obama nominated Judge Sonia Sotomayor to the Supreme Court on Tuesday, her harshest opponents have seized on a statement she made 8 years ago, some going so far as to call what she said racist. While there's little doubt Judge Sotomayor is headed to confirmation by the Democratic-controlled Senate, the White House decided today it was time for some damage control. Here's Wyatt Andrews.
It's a line that's raised the most heat about the nomination of Judge Sotomayor. In a 2001 lecture on how ethnic experience can affect a judge, Sotomayor said, "I would hope that a wise Latina woman with the richness of her experiences would more often than not reach a better conclusion than a white male who hasn't lived that life." After 3 days of wishing the controversy away, the White House called it a poor word choice, clearly meaning the word better.
I think if she had the speech to do all over again, I think she'd change that word.
While supporters insist she was stating the facts that experience impacts judging, Sotomayor's better than a white man comment has energized the conservative opposition.
Equal justice under law?
It's led to charges she'll be a liberal who favors minorities and led Rush Limbaugh and others to call her racist.
And you cannot describe who she is without using the racist word.
Politically, however, most Republicans think the racism charge goes too far. Senator John Cornyn of Texas was interviewed on NPR.
I just don't think it's appropriate. I certainly don't endorse it. I think it's wrong.
But what also happened this week is that Republicans did the math. They don't have the votes to defeat Sotomayor.
The new position for Republicans is let's have a dignified hearing, let's stop the name calling, and let's get to the issues at hand here.
It is also clear that Sotomayor is more centrist than opponents first thought. On SCOTUS blog, a neutral website, Tom Goldstein finds that the judge ruled against minorities in 45 out of 50 cases.
And it turns out that almost all the time she rejects claims of discrimination by minorities.
What's shaping up then is a very tough confirmation process in which her better than a white male comment will be the basis of question number 1. But absent some monster revelation, Sotomayor has the votes for confirmation. Katie?
All right, Wyatt Andrews. Wyatt, thank you so much. Now to America's struggling automakers. One's about to enter bankruptcy, another is about to come out. GM will file Chapter 11 on Monday and announce it's closing 14 more factories that employ 21,000 workers. Today, as expected, the UAW approved concessions to help the company get through bankruptcy. And then, Anthony Mason, there's Chrysler, a sleeker new model rolling out of not the showroom, but the courtroom.
Yeah, Katie, Chrysler, after less than a month in bankruptcy court, could be back in business soon. A New York judge is expected shortly to approve a plan to sell most of the company's assets and effectively create a new Chrysler.
Chrysler's already shed more than 30,000 workers, 40% of its workforce, and wants to close nearly 800 dealerships. Those dealers say they're being steamrolled by the accelerated bankruptcy hearings.
If this can happen to me, a profitable business owner for 30 years, it can happen to anyone.
With the sale, the U.S. and Canadian governments will own 10% of the new Chrysler. Fiat will own up to 35%. The majority will be owned by the United Auto Workers Health Care Trust, but it'll have only one seat on the board.
What is this new Chrysler? How is it different?
Analyst John Cassessa.
The new Chrysler bears no resemblance to the old Chrysler. The best parts of the old Chrysler, Jeep, the minivan business, will now be part effectively of a big international company.
That company is the Italian automaker Fiat, whose CEO Sergio Marchionne is expected to take control of Chrysler.
Because Fiat has the technology and the operating experience to run a car company. The union doesn't, the government doesn't, and there's no old Chrysler management left.
Chrysler's debt holders can appeal the judge's decision, but bankruptcy attorneys say it's unlikely to delay completion of the deal. Katie?
All right, Anthony Mason, thanks so much, Anthony. General Motors, one of the Dow 30, closed below $1 for the first time in 76 years. But the Dow still gained 96 points today, and May is now the third straight winning month for the blue chips. In other news tonight, President Obama took aim at what he calls a growing threat to America's economy, cybercrime. He said he plans to name a czar to coordinate efforts to protect the nation's computer networks. In the past 2 years, hackers have cost Americans $8 billion and businesses worldwide as much as $1 trillion.
It's now clear this cyber threat is one of the most serious economic and national security challenges we face as a nation. It's also clear that we're not as prepared as we should be, as a government or as a country.
Now, hackers are not just looking for cash. They've got the military in their crosshairs as well, and the Pentagon is fighting back. Our chief investigative correspondent, Armin Katayan, has an exclusive look at this top-secret war.
It may not look like a battleground, but behind these walls are the front lines in the booming cyber war against hackers driven to disrupt, even destroy vital U.S. military networks, and investigators intent on protecting them.
What we want to do is get out in front of it and be able to protect the way we do business, to protect the Air Force, and protect our country from this kind of harm.
Here at the Air Force Office of Special Investigations, agents identify and attempt to neutralize criminal, terrorist, and espionage computer threats of every kind.
We have field offices like this in 11 locations spread out across the globe.
Using brains and bytes, agents like Paul Alvarez play a high-tech game of cat and mouse, running traces, tracking IP addresses, assessing damage, plugging security holes in the network by erasing viruses and fixing programs, constantly searching for the source of nameless, faceless intruders to hunt down and arrest.
So it's us having to basically peel the onion layers back to find out where the core attack came from. We call those hot points. So we'll chase them basically from computer to computer till we get to the endpoint to find out who really did it.
The only constant in the attacks, they come around the clock and from around the globe. Thousands of attempts every day.
Now you just see a wide variety of stuff from major criminal enterprises to foreign adversaries.
At risk, missile defense systems, communication networks, everything that makes the military work. In fact, the Department of Defense says it has spent more than $100 million in just the last 6 months repairing the damage done by cyber attacks.
It's a growing threat, and it's growing by leaps and bounds.
21st century war games with nothing less than our national security at stake. Armin Katayan, CBS News, New York.
Now to the fast-rising category of Americans who call themselves multiracial. According to the Census Bureau, that's more than 5 million people, an increase of more than 3% since 2007. As Cheryl Atkinson reports, this represents a big change in who we the people are and are becoming.
I'll see you soon. Candace Feldman is half Zimbabwean, half Hawaiian Filipino.
I consider myself black. It's just easier, especially when you're talking to people.
She's part of the fastest growing demographic group in America. The number of multiracial Americans is up 33% since 2000. Social scientists say it's largely due to growing social acceptance of interracial relationships and marriage. That means more people identifying with famous mixed-race Americans like Tiger Woods and President Obama.
I've been considering myself part of the Obama because I'm black and Hawaiian, and there's not that many of us.
In terms of sheer numbers, California, Texas, and New York have the most multiracial people. By percentage, Hawaii is first, with nearly 1 in 5 residents of mixed race. Experts say it's bound to shake up a nation used to measuring everything from school achievement to voting trends in single-race terms.
What is going to happen to so many of the race-based counting systems that we have now?
Well, in some ways, it's like taking the deck of cards and throwing them up in the air.
Added to the mix, ancestry is becoming increasingly important to how people see themselves. Nada El Arian is Palestinian, Egyptian, and Turkish, but
when you check mark a governmental box, you're pretty much forced to check off Caucasian.
Yeah.
But you don't really consider yourself Caucasian.
No, I don't think we share the same ancestry as European Americans.
It may sound like the ultimate melting pot, but every trend comes with its own baggage.
Some of them will see that they're getting advantages in one way or another. Others will see that they're disadvantaged in some ways or another.
Social scientists say that will lead to new pecking orders. They don't know exactly what they'll be, only that they're coming soon. The census study predicts that in 2028, a majority of the population under age 30 will be minorities. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Washington.
We want to give you an update now on our special series, Children of the Recession, because the response from viewers has been so positive and gratifying.
This is when we, Mom, Isabel, and I were sitting in the Metro Union station.
Lori and her sister Isabel were living on the streets of Chicago after their parents lost their jobs. Then, through a program called Safe Families, a couple volunteered to take the girls in.
Give you some information.
Since our story aired last week, more than 500 families have signed up to take in other kids until their parents can get back on their feet.
Today was the worst day.
And Byron Pitts told you about children like Gus, whose families are living in motels. After that report, Gus's father got a job, so we hope it's the beginning of better times for them.
I feel lucky about me, because right now, at least I'm not really on the street or in a cardboard box.
And we got many letters about 11-year-old Tristan. 82-year-old Herb Smith of North Carolina wrote, "I'm fortunate to live on Social Security and a pension." He enclosed $100 for Tristan and his mom. So thank you, everyone. Meanwhile, coming up next, a CBS News exclusive, we take you along as the world's navies battle piracy on the high seas. Navy ships from every corner of the globe have converged on the Gulf of Aden to fight piracy and protect some very valuable cargo. Each day, $200 million worth of oil passes through the Gulf, and pirates are currently holding 14 ships for ransom. But with about 50 warships now patrolling the area, the tide is beginning to turn against the pirates. Sheila McVicker has this exclusive report.
On this superhighway of the high seas, Chinese warships escort a 15-ship convoy to safety. These waters are so strategically important that for the first time, China has sent its warships to patrol far from home.
There's more than 60,000 square miles of water down there in the Gulf of Aden, and there's now more than 50 warships patrolling here. The latest to arrive, the Iranian.
Heard but not seen, an Iranian warship hails passing traffic.
Oscar 195, this is Foxtrot 83, over.
How many Iranian ships are out here? I've only heard of one so far.
Last week, as the American-flagged Maersk Virginia was pursued by pirates, there was this unusual example of Iranian-American cooperation.
Iranian warship, Maersk Virginia, Channel 16.
The Iranian warship offered to help, but pirates were warned off by an Italian naval helicopter. Japanese, American, French, this is an enormous international effort aimed at thwarting piracy.
While we may have different agendas outside of what's going on here, all the ships are actually able to work together.
As the number of warships has grown, the number of attacks has dropped. And in the last 3 weeks, there has not been one successful hijacking.
All of you move to the front of the boat.
Hands up! It's becoming more difficult for the pirates to find ships to attack because we do have more of a presence.
The real solution, say commanders here, is not on the sea, but on land, finding legal and political solutions to deal with the pirates. And that may prove more difficult than any chase on the high seas. Sheila McVicker, CBS News, on board HMCS Winnipeg in the Gulf of Aden.
Millions of Americans have lost their homes in this recession, and millions more are worried about it. But a lucky few are finding that movie makers will pay big bucks for a star location. Ben Tracy shows us how Hollywood is turning average homes into bright spots.
When this couple opened their Los Angeles furniture store 4 months ago, they offered deep discounts. They still are, yet some days they don't make a single dollar.
A lot of people are uncertain.
and that uncertainty is carried right in here.
It's also followed them home. They began to worry about paying their $4,600 per month mortgage.
Anywhere we can make money on the side, I just feel like we've got to grab at it.
So now it's lights, camera, dollars. To keep their house, they're renting it out to local film crews. Their bathroom is now a makeup room and the backyard a setting for a murder mystery. They're getting paid $1,000.
And it was a really quick and easy way to, bring in extra income and take advantage of our house.
Shoots at a typical home can pay between $3,000 and $5,000 per day, and more struggling homeowners want a piece of the action. In 2007, top location agencies received 5 to 10 submissions per week from homeowners looking to rent out their homes. Now they're getting as many as 50, a 900% increase. But the chances of getting picked for a shoot here in Los Angeles are getting slimmer. There's more competition, and because of the economy, overall production of TV, movies, and commercials is at a record low.
You got an idea?
We could make a porno.
Like the characters in the comedy spoof Zack and Miri Make a Porno, Jerry Mendoza decided to increase his opportunities. He considered a friend's suggestion, rent out his house to the adult film industry.
And I said, "You mean like porn?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, "Wow, I have to think about that."
But paying 2 mortgages and unable to sell this house in a down market, Jerry made his case to his wife.
I basically said, "Honey, we're in a recession. I got to do what I have to do to keep this family afloat."
And it's good for Hollywood, too. Paying to rent homes for a shoot costs much less than building a set.
85% of all filming, commercials, and all different types of shoots are done on location at someone's residence or someone's business.
Mark Pagnano's house starred in this Subway commercial.
Who I can hang out with?
He was paid $3,000, but a 9-day shoot for the Cartoon Network exposed the downside of this business, the mess.
My wife was just in shock. I mean, things were just everywhere. And
but
got $15,000, so that was great.
And in this economy, that's a scene many homeowners would like to be in.
And cut.
Ben Tracy, CBS News, Hollywood.
And the script for next week's Belmont Stakes will not include Rachel Alexandra. Her owners announced today that the champion filly will not run in the final leg of the Triple Crown because she needs a rest. 2 weeks ago, Rachel Alexandra won the Preakness in her first race against the boys. And from that very talented 3-year-old, we go next to a phenomenal 2-year-old, a pocket-sized pool shark, next in Steve Hartman's Assignment America. Finally tonight, are you smarter than a 5th grader? All right, maybe you are, but how about this? Are you sharper than a 2-year-old with a cue stick? Here's Steve Hartman's Assignment America.
Not since the legendary Minnesota Fats has there been a more promising pool phenom than New York Shorts. Shorts, a.k.a. Keith Odell, lives in upstate New York. His pool career was born not long after he was, when, at 20 months, he hustled his parents for a pool table.
Christmas morning, he opened up his pool table, and he just started shooting. Nice shot.
Keith was good from the get-go.
How old are you, Keithy?
2.
But his parents say over the last 5 months, he's really matured, at least pool-wise. In most ways, Keith is still a typical toddler, until you put a cue in his hand.
Closed bridge, chin on the stick, just a beautiful stroke right off the back.
Then he's all business.
Combo.
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 Nice shot, baby.
Today, having pretty much outgrown his baby pool, Keith prefers to play at the local billiards hall.
Might be a little too high.
For him, just getting to the hall is the hard part. His parents say he could play all day.
Drag him up.
As you probably guessed by now, Keith's dad is really into pool too. He even competes on an amateur level, but says he never actually taught his son anything about the game.
He's just a copycat. He's a sponge. He just takes everything in that I do, and he copies it.
Copies it
Ipa.
and improves on it. Even if he does say so himself.
Nice shot.
Nice shot, Keithy.
With that attitude and this ability, you can understand why folks in the billiards community are already calling him the Tiger Woods of pool. Kid's not even old enough to play Candyland, yet he's mastered the rail. He can barely count, Yet he seems to understand physics perfectly. But here's what I found most impressive of all. When the pressure's on and that 8-ball is tucked up there dangerously close to the pocket, Keith's got the perfect touch. With that kind of control, can you imagine how easy potty training will be?
Although hopefully for his parents, when that time comes, he won't try a bank shot.
But I like when he said rack it up. So when will he be, rack him up, when will he be in the 4 and under competition?
There isn't even a 4 and under competition. There's nobody else out there even playing at this age.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So cute. All right, tell us about next week.
Okay, we have an update on one of my favorite stories. It was viewed by millions of people on YouTube. The story of Bella and Tara, a scrappy dog and an elephant that formed a remarkable friendship. Next week, I'll have an exclusive update on what they're up to now.
All right, looking forward to that, Steve. Thank you. And that's the CBS Evening News for tonight. Jeff Glor will be here tomorrow. Then Sunday on Face the Nation with Bob Schieffer, the Sotomayor nomination with Senators Dianne Feinstein and Jon Kyl. I'm Katie Couric in New York. Thank you for watching this week. I'll see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Good night.
How about we